The peace and quiet on the grounds of the Imperial Palace in downtown Tokyo. Today we'll take you across town where life is a whole lot faster at the ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating Final. This year, Canada's Jeff Buttle stepped into a whole new realm, winning a silver medal at the World Championships. Today, he takes the next step in the Olympic ascent to turn. Canada's Emmanuel Sandhu has dreams of his own. Unbeaten this Grand Prix season, he still seeks the performance that will fulfill his enormous promise. Stéphane Lambiel has already minted his name in gold. The world champion at the tender age of 20 skates with Swiss precision and comes to the Grand Prix final ready for an encore. Their chemistry is plain to see. Totmianina and Marinin push the envelope in pairs. They carry on the Russian tradition of excellence as two-time world champions. The Chinese are their biggest threat. Jiang and Jiang bring their high-wire act to the Grand Prix final. In 1977 and 1985, Yoyogi National Stadium was home to the World Figure Skating Championships. Today, some of the biggest names in the sport have come here to measure themselves on the road to Turin. Good afternoon and Happy New Year. I'm Mark Lee along with Barb Underhill and Paul Martini. It's day 2 of our coverage from the Grand Prix final in Tokyo. Today, the men and the pairs are on the marquee. And speaking of the men, Canada's Jeffrey Buttle and Emmanuel Sandhu were the top 2 qualifiers on the Grand Prix circuit this season. But what do they need to accomplish today?
Well, for both Emmanuel and for Jeff, this event is about fixing what needs to be fixed as they head into Turin. For Jeff Buttle, it's about getting that long program, that clean, strong, long program under his belt. For Emmanuel, it's the short program, which he has struggled with all season long.
And the competition will be stiff with the reigning world champion, Stéphane Lambiel of Switzerland, in the lineup.
Well, he was experimenting earlier in the season with a new pair of skate boots, which probably cost him a couple of Grand Prix gold medals. He's looking to come in here. He's resolved the problem now, and he wants to find his groove.
The Olympic podium is beginning to take shape in the pairs competition. Paul, I'm wondering if it's going to be left to the Chinese to challenge the Russian superiority in this event.
It really is up to the Chinese. Many feel that the Russians have the best 1-2 punch. The reigning champions, Totmianina and Marinin, and their teammates, Petrova and Tikhonov, are very, very strong. Unfortunately, Shui Zhen and Hongbo Zhao are not on the series this year. He had a serious Achilles tendon injury, which basically has them out of the mix until the Olympic Games. The word is that they are going to be there. But their teammates, the Zhangs, as well as Peng and Tong, appear to be the only teams that could potentially break up a 1-2 finish for the Russians in the pairs competition.
Paul, here's how they qualified in pairs during the Grand Prix series. The reigning world champions, Totmianina and Marinin of Russia, with 2 victories for 12 points each. Jiang and Jiang also very strong. And Petrova and Tikhonov, silver medalists in Moscow in March, qualifying 3rd. So the Russians and the Chinese, the 2 superpowers in pairs skating. And we'll open this afternoon with a young team from Germany that has delighted many crowds around this planet. Alyona Savchenko and Szolkowy, representing Germany, the 2-time German champions. This year on the Grand Prix series, a first-place finish and gold medal at Skate Canada, and 2nd at the NHK Trophy event in Osaka, Japan. This team had a sensational win over Petrova and Tikhonov at Skate Canada. One Russian publication termed it a fresh and courageous program.
By fresh and courageous, what he means is the choreography of this program is so interesting. Watch in particular the linking movement between the elements. Very, very original and very creative. Setting up here, the side-by-side jumps. Great entrance. Unusual entrance into the double twist. Most teams go diagonal, corner to corner, and that was straight down the ice.
Yet another strong choreographic moment. Her leg extension right into the throw. Throw triple sow cow. Excellent ice coverage, very good extension from her in all the positions throughout that lift.
Alyona is Ukrainian, and it looks at this point like she will not get her German citizenship in time for these two to compete in Turin, and that's a real shame because they have tremendous chemistry and great potential.
Very good. Long, low, death spiral. Solid rotation, almost 2 full rotations with him in the pivot position.
And on this combination, spin to close, traveling in both directions. A very, very refreshing new look. Lots of original ideas. Great skate.
Indeed it was. The Germans, Alyona Savchenko and Szolkowy, trying to break into this arms race between the Russians and Chinese in pairs figure skating.
Here's the entrance into their side-by-side jump. He has a little bit of difficulty hanging on to the landing. Again, no telegraph of any particular element, which is a great sign of solid choreography.
Well, they must be anxious for some good scores here, opening with tremendous short program.
It'll be interesting to see if they get rewarded with that creativity in the program components.
Well, they're coming off their best short program ever just a couple of weeks ago at the NHK Trophy Grand Prix event. Here are the marks for technical elements: 33.74, program components 28.04. So a strong performance here in the short program for this German pairs team.
I thought transitions would have been a little bit higher there. That was their strength.
The only mark under 7. Overall 61.78, and that is a new personal best score in the short program, and that will put them into first place, setting the bar in this short program in pairs. Still to come, China's Jiang and Jiang, challengers to Russian superiority. The pairs short program, and next up, the number 2 team from Russia, the world silver medalists Maria Petrova and Alexei Tikhonov. They've had a tremendous Grand Prix series this season, second at Skate Canada, first at Cup of China. And at 34, Alexei Tikhonov is the oldest male skater in the pairs competition. And this is their farewell tour as they plan to retire following this season. They've worked very hard on their fitness and come into this season, they say, with stamina that they haven't seen in years.
And as a former world champion, this team certainly knows what it takes to become number 1. They know what they have to do in terms of competing not only against their teammates who are ranked number 1 in the world, but they've got the experience to know that there's no room for error. They'll open this program here with great speed as they move into their opening elements side by side. Triple toes. Excellent unison through that jump.
Not bad. We could have seen a bigger split there from Maria. Key move here, throw triple loop. Gets a little bit stuck on the landing, but follows it through. Good unison on the side-by-side spins, nice and close together. And they'll step straight into the pair combination spin.
Watch this strength. Wow.
Beautiful landing, very soft.
They've raised their game, no doubt about that. Maria Petrova and Alexei Tikhonov. And if this really is their final year, they're going to go out with a flourish.
Well, it certainly was an outstanding performance. Every element well executed, good unison throughout the program, nice level of performance, just an excellent skate. Here's a look at the twist. Could use a little bit more height to give her some opportunity to get that free leg through a little cleaner, but this throw, well done. Little tight there. You see her break at the waist, but look at this strength demonstrated by him to get this lift up into the air.
Love this exit.
Petrova and Tikhonov have twice won bronze medals at the Grand Prix final. Trying to at least do that, maybe go one step higher on the podium this year. The number 2 ranked Russian team behind Totmianina and Marinin for the past 3 years. The technical elements, 32.98. Program components, 29.12. And that will give this Russian team a score in the short program of 62.10. So about 5 points below the personal best they set in this competition a year ago. But good enough to rank them first right now in the short program. Next, here at Yoyogi National Stadium in Tokyo, the top Chinese pair. With the absence of former world champions Jiang and Jiang, Jiang and Jiang represent China's best hope right now in this competition. And they had a terrific season on the Grand Prix Series. First at Skate America for the 2nd year in a row, and first here in Japan at NHK.
This team is just so consistent. Very few misses.
Big tricks.
Big tricks. Watch how this lift just comes out of nowhere. Very little preparation.
One-handed.
Watch him on this throw triple loop. He actually leaps up into the air as well. Side-by-side jump is next. Triple Salchow. Both were a little tight, a little bit pitched forward on the landing, but they landed them. And this is where they struggle with side-by-side spins. You can see their positions are often not matched, and they struggle with the unison, and it's very hard to keep these spins in sync because every time you change position, your speed changes, and you have to stay in sync with your partner. It's very, very difficult.
He's got a lot further to go around than she does. Jiang and Jiang were 5th at last year's Grand Prix final, the year in which they stepped onto the podium at the World Championships for the first time, winning bronze in Moscow.
Steps into the double twist. Great height, great hang time.
Jiang and Jiang of China with some big tricks indeed.
Big tricks, a few little wobbles. The side-by-side spins certainly were not at the level that we'll see from Totmianina and Marinin as well. The jumps were a little bit tight, but overall, still a very solid performance.
I would never have thought that this team would choose Led Zeppelin's Kashmir as a piece of music to skate to, but it works very well for them. We talked about the big tricks of this team, and they are superb at it. His strength here, getting this lift up, one arm, covers great ice, nice change of position.
She gets into a little bit of an awkward position, but then saves it towards the end of the lift.
Look at the distance she travels.
Huge distance, huge air. And this team does an outstanding triple twist, which we'll see in the long program, but here in the short program, it's a double. Look at the height.
Amazing.
Catches her hips, which is exactly what you want to do. A little bit of a lean, but sets her down in full control.
A lot of trust involved in those throws. Now the scores for Dan Jiang and Hao Jiang of China, 33.92 for technical elements, joined by their coach Bin Yao. And for program components, quite a bit lower at 27.84. So this will not be enough to make a move on the Russians and the Germans. Jiang and Jiang sit third. And so the Russians, Petrova and Tikhonov, have the lead, and they have reason to smile after their short program here in Tokyo at the Grand Prix final.
Yes, we're very happy with our skating tonight, and for short program it was very good skating. Also, we have very nice condition now. We did great side-by-side triple loop, and then it was very nice, very same side-by-side spins, and also whole program was good actually. Marie make a little small mistake. I mean, usually during the practice, the landing after the throw triple loop, so she doing it a little bit faster. I mean, it's more speed, on the landing. But anyway, otherwise we're happy to skate here in Japan and to be in the final again.
Frank comments from Tikhonov. Straight ahead, the World and Grand Prix champions, also from figure skating. Last March in Moscow, they threw caution to the wind, only a few short months after a frightening fall that put Tatiana in hospital with a concussion. They raised the bar, setting new personal best scores in both the short program and free skate. And they thrilled the Russian crowd, winning their second consecutive world championship. Unbeaten this year in the Grand Prix series, they are the favorites here in Japan. And they're next at Yoyogi National Stadium, the two-time world champions and Olympic favorites, four-time European champions, winners at the Grand Prix in France and the Cup of Russia, on the road here to the Grand Prix final in Tokyo. That really was a horrific fall back at Skate America, something that garnered them attention across the United States. What a comeback.
And her coach, Oleg Vasilyev, mentioned she still is affected by that concussion, especially on long flights. Opening here, forward inside death spiral. Taking her a long time to get into that arch position.
Excellent throw triple loop.
She rotates so fast.
Setting up the jump element, side-by-side triple toe.
Double twist. Good control. Doesn't have the height of the Jiangs. Very nice unison here.
Not only is the unison good, but the matchup position is fairly good as well. It's always a challenge for a pair team. Different bodies don't always match positions well, but this team does a pretty good job of it.
That is the gold standard in pairs. Tatiana Totmianina and Maxime Marinin, the world champions from Russia, and their short program in Tokyo.
When you compare it to that of Petrova and Tikhonov, element for element, these two teams are really very, very close, but this particular performance has a refinement about it that takes it to the next level, that makes you go, yes, this is the one. This is the one that's worthy of being in first place. Here's a look at the throw. Excellent tight air position by her. You can see in the freeze frames just how snug she holds her arms, legs, no air between them.
His rotation is a little bit slower on this jump, so he lands just a touch after her. Here's the twist. Doesn't have the explosiveness of the Jiangs, but it's very much in control. Everything they do is very precise, very refined. No wow factor, but well done.
And here are the scores for Totmianina and Marinin. 35.12 for technical elements. joined by their coach, Oleg Vasiliev, and for program components, 31.80. You add those together, and their short program score is the best so far here in Tokyo, 66.92. And the lead after the short program. The Russians 1-2, Germany in third, ahead of the Chinese, Jiang and Jiang, by 2/100ths of a point. But Totmianina and Marinin have done the short program so well so often, we asked them to rate this program here in Tokyo.
Actually, yes, because for us it's first competition, it's the toughest one. And as we pass through, that competition, next one is going to be better and better. So, and tonight performance just prove that.
Still to come at the Grand Prix final, the men's short program featuring the world champion from Switzerland, Stéphane Lambiel.